So my background before I started HAYVN was I owned a marketing agency. And for 16 years, I worked with 15 or 16 women, and we did branding and all sorts of tactics to help with the branding initiative. So when Kim said she couldn't do us, I said, well, maybe I can kind of remember some of this stuff. So just bear with me. Okay, so in terms of branding for wellness professionals, I'm going to cover the following. Everybody can see my screen okay? Is it? Yeah, okay. I know it's not blown up too much, but so we'll talk about identity versus branding, which is kind of key, and then how to define your brand, and then leave you with some tips and tricks for branding to consider. So first off, just to really define what identity versus branding is. So I think everybody kind of knows what this brand is. Okay, and it's really, I think when I had my branding agency, I would always talk about the Nike swoosh, because this is the ultimate in branding. And actually something interesting about the Nike swoosh that you might not have known, but this was actually created by a student in Portland. So they got away with murder, where normally you'd be paying millions of dollars for a brand, but this was created by a student. So what is a brand? A brand is not just a name, logo, and tagline. A brand is really what you stand for. So I love Jeff Bezos's definition. The brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. And really, a brand is a gut feeling about your product or service. You can't control the process, but you can influence it. So here's a cute, just gonna Marguerite. Here's a cute series of cartoons that Kim provided that just about what a brand is not. So if a man says, I am a great lover, that is not a brand, that is marketing. If a guy calls a girl and says, I am a great lover, that is telemarketing, that's not a brand. If he has his associate call the girl, and then that is public relations. And if he keeps telling over and over, I'm a great lover, I'm a great lover, that's advertising. And if he tries to just visually show the woman that he's a great lover, that's graphic design. But if the woman says, I understand you're a great lover, then that is branding. So simple as that. It's a cute way to remember things. So just to reiterate, branding is not what you say, it's what they say. So when you're putting together a brand, it's not, again, just the logo and the tagline. It's all the pieces that kind of pull together. So it's the graphics, the customer experience, the staff you have, the product, the logo, the packaging, the signage, the website, the decor. So I think about it like it was really helpful for me. And I think this is why I was able to jumpstart some things at HAYVN, was because I had actually Kim do my logo, and I had a name, but it was really kind of pulling all those elements together. So when you walk into HAYVN, my goal was to have like a clean, welcoming location that kind of fit with the logo. And then the staff, everything about it from the customer experience point, you know, we train the staff to be a certain way. So everything really should reflect the brand. In the wellness world, I was just trying to think of some brands that I thought did a really great job. And one was Peloton. You know, I mean, their website is top notch, their messaging, their decor, their customer experience, you know, the instructors. I know a lot of people do Peloton because of that. And, you know, I think locally there's some great brands that I've seen, like one is Joyride. I was just looking at their website this morning, and, you know, and you get the feel, and I know that the personality's there. So it's just really putting it all together, the package. So, something that in terms of branding is, now that you understand what a brand is, how do you define the brand? So you really want to create a narrative of what represents you. It can be very subjective, but there's ways to do it. And you also want to make sure you don't have that conflict between like what you're trying to say and what is the reality. So one example I was thinking about was, Target has some amazing branding. So I was really excited when they came to the Stamford area. You see all their logos and how it feels on the commercials. But when I went to the store, it was a complete mess. And I was really disappointed. So really that's where like the brand and the expectation did not match. So you really have to think through that when you're creating things. One exercise that I did when I worked with Kim that was really helpful was kind of coming up with some keywords, when you're starting out or when you're trying to figure out your brand. And so you kind of like what the culture should be, the customer, the voice, the benefit, and the value. So kind of just like do a little brainstorming, pull all the words together. And once you do that, you want to kind of cull it down and narrow it down to about 10 words based on that. And then keep narrowing and getting further until it boils down to about 6 words. And finally, so in this case, it's, defining what refined and rustic is. So this is just kind of a sample of an exercise that you can pull together. So, and once you've defined your brand, there's a lot more to it, obviously, but it's always great to hire a professional to kind of pull this together. But once you define it, you really want to work hard at getting the word out. And I have a worksheet from Kim that she put together, just some tips. So when you have your logo, make sure that you place it everywhere, on your email signature, on every piece of material that you pop out. And you want to write down your branding messaging. So every employee should be trained on what your message is. So that's how it kind of starts from the bottom up. And I kind of mentioned this already. You want to integrate your brand into everything. How you answer your phone. It's actually funny because we had initially I was hired a phone service to do all our answering for us, and it was horrible. And one of our members just said, this just doesn't fit with your brand. And so I quickly changed that and scripted it out, and we brought it in-house. But people notice these things. And obviously, like, you want to create a voice for your company that reflects your brand. Make it friendly, or whatever those keywords are. Create that voice. And it's helpful to develop a tagline that reflects your brand. Write it, make it memorable. And so I like to create the templates and standard marketing material, and we have a folder that you can pull from, so everything looks the same. And it's really having that branding guide. So we actually have like a 30-page branding guide that when I ever work with an agency or anybody internally has to memorize those standards. It also, again, helps to have Kim in-house because she just knows it. And be true to your brand. Customers won't return if they don't feel that you're being true to that. And finally, be consistent. So these are some tips and tricks. And at this point, I'm going to turn this over to Kristen to talk about the business part.
Great. Excellent. Thanks, Felicia. Am I sharing my screen or are you sharing it? Okay.
Yeah, you can share your screen. Go ahead.
All right, there we go. Can you all see that? So first, thanks, Felicia, for this opportunity, and also thanks, Alexis and Kim, even though we are missing you right now, because I really love collaboration, and I love collaboration of like-minded people, especially women. And wellness professionals are near and dear to my heart because, by a quick introduction, I started my career in human resources and evolved to specialize in executive development and leadership. And during my entire corporate career, I also had a side hustle in the fitness business. And when I left the corporate scene, or I like to say they left me, I was laid off from my job in 2002, I took that side fitness gig and made it into full-time entrepreneurship. And in those years following that, I've had a few different reinventions of working in the wellness field. And what I really focus on now is helping people create a brand new rhythm in their days, in their bodies, in their businesses, and in their lives. And so today we have a short amount of 10 minutes to talk about business and the wellness professional. No, I'm going to focus on 3 keys to creating rhythm for success in your business. These are 3 keys that are always important, but I find that going into this new season that we're in with a lot of different uncertainty, and, you know, I love the fall and I always love the new energy, the sort of back to school feeling that fall brings. And I think it's going to be a little bit different this year, but it's going to still be critical for us to create this rhythm in our business for success. So what I talk about most are the internal and external aspects of our business. The internal meaning the mindset and the energy that we bring to the party, and then our external, which is how we spend our time and the environment that we surround ourselves with, including our the people, our relationships, and our customers. And so as wellness professionals, there's a good chance that you were called to this business because you wanted to help people. And that's awesome. I see you. I hear you. I am one of you. But what I also find a lot with wellness professionals, and also often with women, is that there is sometimes a disconnect with being a healer and helping people and having a profitable business. And they're not mutually exclusive. We can have both. We can be of service and help people and make money, right? Because that's why we're in business in the first place. So to do that, I'm going to focus on 3 things that we can cultivate to create this rhythm in our businesses. And the first, well, the little formula that I like to keep in my mind is ACR. So what does that mean? The first, we'll start with A, is accumulation. And accumulation is all about building relationships. It's not about selling necessarily. And I know for a lot of people, especially in the wellness field, sales can feel like a dirty word. And a lot of times we are reluctant to ask for the sale. We want to grow organically, and we want to just put our presence out there and think that people will come. If we build it, they'll come. But we do need to be proactive with accumulating prospects. And the whole foundation of that is building relationships. It's about filling your pipeline with prospective ideal customers. And I'm really glad that Felicia started with branding, because you can't even start to talk about accumulation without knowing who you are, knowing what you believe, how you help people, and who your customer is. And Felicia, I think, said specifically what you stand for. And I love that, because in order to accumulate prospects, you need to know what you stand for. So accumulation is about creating a pool of people who can be your next best customer. And the branding piece is important, because before you really get into accumulation, you want to think about quality and not quantity. And I see this a lot also in social media. People want to have a lot of followers, a big audience. But to be honest, I would rather have 500 followers who are potentially interested in my product or service and who have the characteristics of my ideal customer than 10,000 random followers who probably will never buy anything from me. So when you are clear on your brand, you can begin to be clear on who you want to build those relationships with to create a pipeline of accumulation. So there's many, many ways you can work on accumulation. You can do networking. You could host a free webinar. You could create a marketing funnel. You could write a book or put out an ebook, publish an ebook. You could join an organization like HAYVN and connect with other people. And you could run a Facebook ad maybe, or you can do some Instagram stories, or you can ask your current favorite customers for referrals, or you could be a guest on a podcast or Facebook Live. Last week, the last customer I accumulated last week came from a Facebook Live that I did with someone. She started a new Facebook group. There were only 70 people in there, but I knew that our target markets were very aligned. So I did a 10-minute, it was actually supposed to be 5 minutes, but we talked a lot. And it was a 10-minute Facebook Live resulted in someone reaching out to me after that Facebook Live and having a consultation and ultimately becoming a customer. So that was a way for me to have little investment in terms of money and time to get on there and do a quick chat with her, but yet it brought in a prospect for me. And you don't have to do all of these things. I just rattled off several ways that you can fill your pipeline and accumulation. But I would suggest don't do them all. Pick what resonates with you and work to your strengths. You know, tune into your strengths. If you're really introverted and you hate networking and it just gives you the, like, you know, the icky feeling, then write an ebook and create a marketing funnel that you can do that's going to showcase where your strengths lie. So that's really the important consideration when you're deciding, what am I going to do to accumulate customers? And then your whole focus is building relationships. So let's move on to number C, ACR. C is conversion. Now this is all about closing the gap. And the gap is the need or the problem that your prospective customer is having and the service or product that you offer. It's taking those people that are in your pipeline, the ones you've gathered from your accumulation efforts, and highlighting a need and then showing how you can fill the need. People want to know how you can help them. That's what they want to know. Can you help me solve this problem? That's really the only question that you need to answer. And they want to know that what you're offering is going to solve the pressing problem or dilemma that they're experiencing. Now, there are a lot of different ways that you can approach your conversion. This is the sales conversation. You could have one-on-one sales conversations. If you are a health coach, maybe you do a complimentary conversation to see if it's a good fit. Maybe you do a low-cost webinar to introduce them to your work and how you can help them and solve that problem. Maybe you offer them an assessment. People love to fill out assessments. You see that evidenced by these crazy little Facebook quizzes that people will take. You know, I've taken them too. It's all good. And people love an assessment, and that shows them where that gap is. It may highlight why they need you even more. Or it could be testimonials from your current clients. That's another great way to help close the gap. Oh, you're struggling with this challenge as far as this legal challenge that you have. You can say, hey, here's how I helped other clients with that very same problem. So they want to know that you can solve their problem for them. Now let's talk about retention, the R in this equation. Once you've accumulated customers and you've converted them to paying clients, which is really important, you got to ask for that sale. And my husband, years ago, I remember my husband used to say, you're really good at getting free jobs that don't pay you. We don't want that. We don't want to be really good at that. We want to be really good at getting clients that want to invest. And retention is all about providing excellence. So this could be creating excellence through quality. It can be creating excellence through service, and it often can be creating excellence through education. So if you want people to keep coming back to you, you need to show them why it's necessary to keep coming back. How do you keep coming back to you? So once the client that I mentioned last week, she came from a Facebook Live that I did in someone's group. I had a one-on-one conversation with her following that the next day, and she explained her challenge, and I told her how I could help her solve that challenge. So that was our conversion conversation. But now that she's purchased, the real key to sustainable, profitable success in business is retention. And maybe you have a service that it's a one and done kind of service that you're, do one time and you always need to refill that pipeline. But maybe you have a service or a product that is a repeat experience. So in this case, this woman bought a kit of essential oils from me, and in order to keep her coming back, I need to continue to educate her on other ways that she can use her products and other products she might want to use. So for retention, this could include value-added education. So as part of my process, once that sale was made, I have a series of 3 follow-up emails that she receives, and they tell her, they don't try to sell her something new. They thank her for the sale that she just made, but they also provide her with some of my favorite resources. Here are some of my favorite resources that you might want to check out. And so I'm adding value, I'm adding education. Retention could be something like customer reward programs, that little card that you got at the coffee shop that you got them to, punch each time, got you coming back to get that free cup of coffee. It could be a referral program, something that you are offering to your clients when they refer someone else. And it could simply be your emails. Perhaps you put out a weekly email that gives not just a promotion or something that's, a deal that you're running, but some information that helps them know what the benefits are that you offer, and anything that enriches their experience. And it could be also just the very high quality service that you provide when they have a question or a problem. So the key with ACR, accumulation, conversion, and retention, is consistency. It's consistency. So you don't want to fill your pipeline sporadically. You don't want to just follow up with prospects when your business is slow. And you don't want to just love on your customers occasionally. You want to make this an ongoing practice, part of your business strategy. So if you're consistent in these areas, it'll help you create a rhythm that sustains your business. When I used to own a fitness studio, I would start every Monday asking myself these 3 questions. What am I going to do this week to accumulate prospects? What am I going to do to follow up with and convert the prospects that I have? And what will I do to make my current customers' experience even better to retain them and keep them coming back? Now, depending on your business model, that may not be something you ask yourself daily. Maybe it's daily, maybe it's weekly like I did, or maybe it's on a monthly basis. But it's important to ask those questions to get into this rhythm. And a lot of times we get very into sort of our working hours per dollar, servicing our clients, and we don't think about our business on a more bird's eye scale. So if you want sustainable results, you need to be intentional about those 3 aspects of your strategy. So one of the things that I'm really excited about is our Wellbuilt session that Felicia referenced. And this is a 4-week workshop, just 4 sessions, 4 one-hour sessions beginning in September, that will help you create a new rhythm in your business. The ACR strategy is one thing that I share, but we focus each week on one of these aspects, the internal aspects of your mindset and your energy, and the external aspects of how you're spending your time and the environment you're creating for yourself. And just the fact that you're on a HAYVN halftime, I know that you are a step in the right direction of having the environment that is supportive, which is beautiful. And so, so grateful for Felicia to have created that. So my gift to you is, if you register for our Wellbuilt series, is a complimentary 30-minute strategy session. And I'll put my email up here. I don't know if you can see that. I'll move our little heads over here. My email and my cell on here. If you want to connect with me, either to get that 30-minute strategy session or simply to just connect and chat. I love to connect with others, and especially our wellness peeps. Where we are right now in this world, the world needs physical, emotional, spiritual, and yes, even financial blessings now. more than ever. And you are the people to offer that, each one of you. So I'm really excited to see your success, and I'm going to turn it over to Alexis. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. So give me a minute to do that. There we go.
Okay. Just give me 1 minute to get my PowerPoint. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Yes, great. Okay. My name's Alexis Brooks. I'm a member at HAYVN, and I'm an attorney to small business owners. So all of my clients really run their own businesses. They may have employees. They may be running it themselves 100%, and they fill in help where they need it. But what I've noticed in the last 6 to 9 months or so is that there are, especially since COVID, there have been people who have been either taking a break from their corporate jobs or reevaluating what they want to do. And so they've been developing some sort of a wellness business, whether or not it might be, Pilates or nutrition, family wellness, naturopathic medicine. And most recently, I've had a sport masseuse, and also an entrepreneur who is linking up wellness providers with early or prospective parents, I'll put it that way. So new and expectant mothers. And so while she's not the wellness providers, she is developing this app to connect providers with consumers or pregnant women or expectant parents with providers. So it's been a hot topic, and like Kristen said, with everything going on, mental health, emotional, and physical well-being is super important. So I'm going to start with a disclaimer, and that's because I'm an attorney. And it's something that you all probably should start with too in some way, either written or on your website. And essentially, just for informational purposes, I am giving this talk and providing this information. However, what I'm not doing is, or what this is not doing, is creating any sort of attorney-client relationship. And